Hello everyone, and welcome back to another update on the fallen stars of America. In today's video, we pay tribute to American celebrities and influential figures from around the world who have recently left us. We'll cover those who passed away today or in the last few days, along with other notable personalities whose lives have made a lasting impact.
In the month of April 2025, the world bid farewell to four extraordinary souls. Each, a giant in their own right. Each, a symbol of human achievement, creativity, courage, and passion. They were the dreamers, the builders, the storytellers, the voices that carried generations forward. In just 1 month, we lost John Williams, the composer whose music shaped the soundscape of our imaginations. Buzz Aldrin, the fearless explorer who left his footprints on the moon. Clint Eastwood, the actor and director who redefined the American hero. And Smokey Robinson, the smooth, soulful voice of Motown, whose songs told the story of love, loss, and hope. Today, we take a moment, not of sadness, but of gratitude. To remember them. To celebrate them. To honor the timeless echoes they have left behind. Because legends may pass. But legends never truly die. John Towner Williams was born on February 8, 1932, in Floral Park, New York. Music was not just a part of his life, it was his life. His father, a jazz drummer, filled their home with rhythms and melodies that stirred young John's imagination. By the time he was 7, John was already studying piano, dreaming of symphonies and scores, while other children played outside. In 1948, his family moved to Los Angeles. There, surrounded by the golden age of Hollywood, young John found himself immersed in a world of grand orchestras, sweeping cinema, and limitless possibilities. After high school, he attended UCLA, and later, the Juilliard School in New York. It was at Juilliard where he sharpened his craft, studying under Rosina Levin, one of the world's great piano teachers. But even then, John Williams knew his destiny wasn't as a concert pianist. His dream was bigger. He wanted to tell stories, not with words, but with music. In the 1950s and early 60s, John began his career quietly. He worked as a pianist and arranger for film studios, contributing to classics like Some Like It Hot and To Kill a Mockingbird. But destiny would not let him stay in the background for long. His breakthrough came in 1975, with a simple, two-note motif that would change film music forever. Dun dun. Dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Jaws. That terrifying, primal sound earned Williams his second Academy Award and introduced audiences to the raw emotional power of his music. Then came Star Wars. In 1977, working with a young George Lucas, John Williams crafted a score that wasn't just background music, it became a character, a force, a heartbeat of the story itself. The soaring brass of the main theme, the haunting beauty of Princess Leia's theme, the menacing undertones of Darth Vader's Imperial March. It was grand. It was mythic. It was unforgettable. The world had never heard anything like it. Throughout his career, Williams created the musical landscapes of some of the most beloved films in history. Superman, E.T., Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Home Alone, Schindler's List, Harry Potter. Each note, each phrase, crafted with the kind of passion that only a true master could summon. He composed for all emotions, fear, wonder, sorrow, triumph. And through it all, he reminded us that behind every great adventure, every great heartbreak, there must be music. Over the course of his career, John Williams earned 5 Academy Awards, 25 Grammy Awards, 7 BAFTAs, 4 Golden Globes, and an astounding 53 Oscar nominations, second only to Walt Disney. But numbers cannot measure his true achievement. Because John Williams didn't just score movies. He scored our memories. The first flight of Superman. The bike soaring across the moon in E.T. The gates of Jurassic Park opening wide. The wands flickering to life at Hogwarts. The first moment we heard, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Without John Williams, those moments would still be great. But with him, they became immortal. Even in his later years, Williams never slowed down. At 90, he was still conducting, still composing, still dreaming. And then, in April 2025, at the age of 93, the baton finally fell silent. But oh, what a symphony he leaves behind. Today, we don't mourn the silence. We celebrate the music. The music that will continue to soar across galaxies, across generations, forever. John Williams proved that sometimes, the greatest stories are not told with words, but with a melody. Edwin Eugene Aldrin Jr., known to the world simply as Buzz, was born on January 20, 1930, in Montclair, New Jersey. He was destined for the skies. His father, Edwin Sr., was an aviation pioneer, one of the early visionaries who saw the future in the air. Buzz grew up surrounded by the hum of engines, the daring tales of pilots, and the relentless spirit of exploration. After graduating from Montclair High School, Buzz enrolled at the United States Military Academy at West Point. He graduated third in his class in 1951 with a degree in mechanical engineering, and a commission into the United States Air Force. But the skies above the earth were just the beginning. Buzz Aldrin served bravely in the Korean War, flying 66 combat missions and shooting down 2 enemy aircraft. He returned from war not just as a veteran, but as a man with a vision far bigger than the battlefield. In 1963, he earned a doctorate of science in astronautics from MIT. His thesis? A study of manned orbital rendezvous, the critical maneuvers that would soon make space missions possible. That same year, he joined NASA's astronaut corps. At first, he was nicknamed Dr. Rendezvous by his fellow astronauts, partly teasing, partly respect. But Buzz didn't mind. He knew, knowledge would be as important as courage if humans were to venture beyond Earth. And then, on July 20, 1969, destiny called. Buzz Aldrin, alongside Neil Armstrong, became one of the first 2 humans to walk on the moon during the Apollo 11 mission. While Armstrong uttered the famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," Buzz followed closely behind, describing the moon's surface simply, but profoundly, magnificent desolation. Those 2 words captured everything, the beauty, the loneliness, the vastness of space. Standing there, on the silent, gray dust of the moon, Buzz Aldrin looked back at Earth, a tiny, fragile blue orb suspended in darkness. In that moment, everything changed, for Buzz, and for humanity. Buzz Aldrin's contribution to spaceflight didn't end with Apollo 11. He became a vocal advocate for continued space exploration, pushing for missions to Mars, for lunar colonies, for the idea that mankind's future was not limited to Earth alone. Buzz faced struggles too. He battled depression and alcoholism in the years after Apollo, struggling to find his place after reaching the greatest peak imaginable. But true heroes aren't defined only by their victories. They are defined by how they rise after falling. Buzz Aldrin rose. He became a symbol not just of adventure, but of resilience. He wrote books, taught young people about science and exploration, and continued to inspire millions with his unwavering spirit. Even into his 90s, Buzz remained a force of nature, appearing at public events, visiting NASA facilities, encouraging future astronauts to aim higher. And in April 2025, at the age of 95, Buzz Aldrin left Earth one final time, this time, for a journey beyond all horizons. Today, when we look up at the moon, when we dream of Mars, of distant worlds, we owe part of that dream to Buzz. Because he showed us that the sky is not the limit. The limit is only in how far we dare to dream. Thank you, Buzz Aldrin. For your courage. For your spirit. For carrying the dreams of humanity into the stars. You taught us that greatness lies not just in reaching new worlds, but in believing that they are within our reach. Clint Eastwood Jr. was born on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California. The son of a steelworker and a factory worker, Clint's early life was marked by the hardships of the Great Depression. His family moved often, chasing jobs across California, shaping Clint into a man of quiet strength, self-reliance, and resilience. Qualities that would one day become his trademark. In his youth, Eastwood was tall, rugged, and magnetic. But success didn't come easy. He worked a series of odd jobs: lifeguard, lumberjack, gas station attendant. Hollywood seemed like a distant dream. Until 1954, when fate, and his undeniable screen presence, gave him a foot in the door. His first roles were small. A few lines here, a background appearance there. But Clint Eastwood had something you couldn't teach. A stare that could cut through steel. A presence that filled the screen without needing words. In 1959, everything changed when he landed the role of Rowdy Yates in the TV series, Rawhide. Week after week, America watched the young cowboy grow into a star. And then, in the mid-1960s, Clint Eastwood crossed an ocean, and found his destiny. Working with Italian director Sergio Leone, he starred in the Dollars trilogy, A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The spaghetti westerns redefined the genre. Gone were the clean-cut, noble cowboys. In their place stood Eastwood's man with no name, rough, dangerous, complex. With little more than a squint, a cigar, and a loaded revolver, Clint Eastwood became an icon. He wasn't just acting. He was embodying a new kind of American myth. The lone gunslinger. The man who followed his own code. The hero who spoke softly, and carried a very big gun. By the 1970s, Eastwood was unstoppable. He stepped into another legendary role, Inspector Harry Callahan, Dirty Harry. Do you feel lucky, punk? 5 words that would forever be etched into the history of American cinema. Dirty Harry was justice without compromise. Clint Eastwood was no longer just a star, he was a symbol. But Clint wasn't content to be just an actor. He stepped behind the camera, and there, he found a new level of greatness. In 1971, he directed his first film, Play Misty for Me. It was just the beginning of a directorial career that would earn him some of the highest honors in Hollywood. He directed and starred in masterpieces like Unforgiven, a brutal, unflinching look at violence and redemption. $1 Million Baby, a heartbreaking story of dreams, sacrifice, and loss. Gran Torino, a reflection on racism, redemption, and forgiveness. American Sniper, Mystic River, Letters from Iwo Jima. Each film tackled human darkness and dignity with a raw honesty few dared to show. Across his career, Clint Eastwood won 4 Academy Awards, 4 Golden Globes, and the lifelong respect of audiences and filmmakers worldwide. But awards can only tell part of the story. Clint Eastwood wasn't just an actor. He wasn't just a director. He was a cultural force. He showed that heroes could be flawed. That masculinity could be tough and tender. That justice was complicated. That America's story was not black and white, but filled with shades of gray. And even into his 80s and 90s, Clint Eastwood kept creating. Kept challenging. Kept telling stories that mattered. He remained the living embodiment of grit, integrity, and quiet power. On April 16, 2025, at the age of 94, Clint Eastwood rode off into the final sunset. But in truth, men like Clint Eastwood never really leave. His spirit lives on, in every tough decision, in every quiet act of bravery, in every soul who refuses to back down from what's right. Thank you, Clint Eastwood, for giving us heroes who weren't perfect, but who were real. For teaching us that courage isn't loud, it's steady. And for reminding us that sometimes, all you need is a squint, a 6-shooter, and a code you never break. Legends don't die. They become part of the land they loved so fiercely. And Clint Eastwood will forever ride across the endless American plains of our imagination. William "Smokey" Robinson Jr. was born on February 19, 1940, in Detroit, Michigan. In the heart of America's Motor City, where steel and dreams collided, a boy with a voice like silk was destined to change the sound of the world. Growing up in a tight-knit neighborhood, young Smokey was surrounded by music. He loved the rich harmonies of doo-wop groups, the rhythm and blues spilling from radios and front porches. As a teenager, he formed a group called the Five Chimes, later renamed the Miracles. It was a humble start. Singing on street corners. Dreaming of something bigger. That dream found a champion in a young songwriter and entrepreneur named Berry Gordy. Together, Smokey Robinson and Berry Gordy would build something the world had never seen before. Motown Records. Smokey wasn't just a performer, he was Motown's soul. He was its heart. Its poet. With the Miracles, he recorded hits that defined a generation. Shop Around, Motown's first million-selling single. You've Really Got a Hold on Me. Oh 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 Baby Baby. The Tracks of My Tears. Smokey's voice was unlike any other. Tender, yearning, sincere. It could soothe a broken heart. It could lift a weary spirit. But Smokey Robinson wasn't just singing his own songs. He was writing for others, crafting the soundtrack of the 1960s. My Girl, for the Temptations. Ain't That Peculiar, for Marvin Gaye. The Way You Do the Things You Do, for the Temptations. Each lyric, each melody, infused with Smokey's gentle wisdom, his romantic soul. Behind the bright lights and roaring crowds, Smokey worked tirelessly, as a songwriter, a producer, a vice president of Motown itself. He helped shape the careers of Stevie Wonder, the Supremes, the Temptations, and countless others. Through the civil rights movement, through times of turmoil and change, Smokey Robinson's music offered hope. His songs spoke of love, heartbreak, and joy, universal emotions that brought people together. In the 1970s, Smokey embarked on a solo career, gifting the world more timeless classics. Cruisin'. Being With You. Just to See Her. His voice remained ageless, soft as velvet, bright as morning. But Smokey's life wasn't without struggles. He battled addiction. He faced the pressure of fame, the burden of expectations. Yet through it all, he endured, with grace, with humility, with a smile that never seemed to fade. Smokey Robinson was honored with the Grammy Living Legend Award, the National Medal of Arts, an induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Song. He was called the King of Motown. But titles never mattered to Smokey. What mattered was the music. And the love. In every song, you could hear it. The belief that no matter the heartbreak, no matter the sorrow, love would always find a way. On April 25, 2025, Smokey Robinson passed away at the age of 85. But his voice, oh, his voice, will never fade. It echoes still, in every soul song, in every whispered, I love you, in every broken heart that dares to hope again. Thank you, Smokey Robinson. For the words. For the melodies. For showing us that music isn't just sound, it's feeling. And for proving that sometimes, the sweetest songs are not about perfect love, but about the beautiful struggle to find it.